We in the area of imaging informatics, medical informatics, we built a platform, if you will, a suite of services, and we've been hugely successful in two markets, the Middle East and the US, East Coast of the US. And what we're seeing, as put to us, is this thing called molecular imaging. Why molecular imaging is going to transform things is, you look at the buffet outside there, along with affluence comes new types of ailments and stuff, which molecular imaging gives 90% accuracy.
Quality of life has been a buzzword for the last 20 years. And people have tried to figure out what would be the best way. And when you're a cancer patient, quality of life is that. So they realized that in order to make this patient, help them cope with the disease, because just the stress alone of knowing cancer sometimes adds to it. So then, how do you lessen the burden? And that is by helping them live a life as close as possible to how they were.
The way I see it, the world is changing very rapidly. Moore's laws, and the laws of acceleration, is saying that technology is increasing about 1,000 times every 10 years. So from today till within the next decade, it's 1,000 times greater processing power, greater technology, and that results in very heavy and new energy consumption.
Everything that man produces has some form of plastic, right? At the very least, the packaging. Okay, so it's a scary part. So we are 4 years in the market. We are barely scratching the surface.
And it's not biodegradable.
Exactly, it's already lasted 1,000 years.
But yours is, right?
Yes, yeah.
There's so much in the pipeline that are being studied and developed in Alzheimer's dementia, in oncology, any of the cancers, and diabetes. All three areas where we know how to control the progression, we know how to manage the symptoms, but have we learned how to stop it, to cure it? It's going to take time, because one of the other hurdles that we're facing are what we call the legacy mentality. People who are comfortable in doing things a certain way find it hard to change.
For example, in diabetes, I believe if there was finance and money involved in finding a cure, it would have been found about 20 years ago. There hasn't been. Pharmaceutical firms survive on funds from this revenue. And so, I guess, what do you think?
Frankly, we're not there yet. So we've been able to decode the human genome, and I think that's the infant stage. We're beginning to crack the code of a lot of diseases. So it's like the chicken before the egg. The companies have to sustain themselves in order to fund the study. And therefore, they have to have a high revenue, because experts cost, equipment cost, technology costs.
But as soon as this whole, the books, money, bottom line, all this kicks in, as I said, I hope that sustains. And that to me is longevity.
My question is, how is it possible that those people are dying, and these people, when they fly back into US or in Europe, all of a sudden, by the miracle, they find the right cure?
Well,
that's a Pandora's box you guys open.
yeah. They limit it because they really don't know whether the safety factor and the efficacy factor can be proven to be true. So, in other words, there is a caveat that if you have what we call an emergent situation, or in some cases a rare situation, and we know that there's a company that's doing something and they're almost there to having enough data to submit for approval, they will ask that company, okay, looks like we have a perfect candidate that will fit this, let's get it. But you have to go through the hoops to be able to get that.
Space dive in plastic. instead of taking from oil, how do we take it from renewable resources that can employ more people? So it's not only good for the environment, but good to the farmers. We can bring out the value of the tapioca. They can hopefully to ask their children to come back and do farming.
I think it's reflective across the region, across the world. That's why we are trying to find solutions that would reduce wastage in the process of generating power, in the process of generating goods, of manufacturing goods. Just give you an example. A typical power plant will give you a 40 to 50% efficiency, maybe up to 55%. The plants we're trying to build is up to 80 to 90% efficiency. So we're reducing the amount of waste that is generated. We take so much energy and so much money to draw the oil from the ground, the gas from the ground. And in the process of converting it to electricity, we actually throw a lot back into the environment. So on the one hand, we are polluting the world. On the other hand, we are just throwing away what's good for us, valuable energy. I think sustainable energy solutions would be a big thing.
Kent Dixon, I'm in the sustainability business, so the subject is very, very hot and very topical. I just would like a very quick answer, I suppose, from the panel as to what they're doing to help make those connections work. And I can see some answers already, but it would just be nice just to see where you see you're going. We don't need new technology, actually. We've got everything we probably need right now. We've just got to make it work better, and we've got to collaborate to make it work. So
We are living in a paradox world, In one sense, the world is borderless. In another sense, like you just mentioned, is a lot of protection, technology. So in a sense, if you look at even a higher perspective, there's so many technology out there right now. 97% of patent worldwide is actually only patent number sitting in patent office. Only 3% make it to the market that are useful. And why? That's because it's so hard to collaborate. It's so hard to license one to another.
I hope to see that calls for collaboration taking place. Usually, the financial bureaucracies are what stops these things. Is there green technology today? Can engines run on water? Absolutely. But do you think, it's interesting that green technologies are funded by the largest oil companies. Doesn't it sound weird? I mean, it's like, Satan worshipping God, right?
I agree with you. Collaboration is definitely the key, and I think one of the things that at least we're doing in our company right now is we've created and integrate a platform that is able to integrate multi-systems and doing it in real time. I think the cloud is our best friend.
Every day you walk the dog, you need to that pool, right? And in order to clean up the park, right? They said that they put out a policy, you need to pick up the pool, correct? Now imagine that any pool, right, is actually natural fertilizer, correct? Imagine that you keep the park clean. There's a policy, okay, government. Keep the park clean. You pick up the pool, and 99%, almost 100%, put inside a regular plastic bag. It becomes non-degradable, okay, and it fill up the landfill. Okay, again, sustainability, good idea, but if you don't look at it toward the end of life, it's create a bigger issue. Okay, now, so these actors came to us and said, hey, can you produce a pool bag can degrade together with the pool? So that's what we did. We created a tapioca-based pool bag. Okay. Now, how do you get the government to collaborate and change the policy? It's not a big hurdle. Okay. So absolutely correct. Today it's not lacking technology per se. It's like how to collaborate among the business partner, collaborate among the together with the government, NGO, and all that to provide the solution.
And also the other thing is, we shouldn't have the culture of meeting to decide on next meetings. We should get to a meeting with actual agendas and deliverables and takeaways and leave there doing something, as opposed to going to a meeting when everybody thought someone would do and no one did anything. So if we have a good call for collaboration platform like that, I think it's an excellent step forward.
We're talking about renewable energy, we're talking about environmental degradation, I think to some extent we're talking about food security, and we're talking about human behavior when it comes to health. And the question is, if you believe in collaboration, then there's an assumption that businesses have the stomach to deal with some of these big issues. Full disclosures, I used to work for the U.S. government, working on exactly this tri-sector partnerships. And from my experience, because businesses are susceptible to changes because they're responsible to shareholders, sometimes a project that looks like a great collaboration, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, disappears because there isn't the stomach to deal with some of these really difficult issues because you can't see the impact right away.
If someone's going to be called a vice president or something, when you put him on a plane, he has to be given the accountability and the responsibility to make these collaborations work.
It's not easy. It took me 6 months to get them to sit on the table to plan out a strategy. And then the moment they collaborate, the next 6 months we hit 90% for the market. Now the moment we hit 90% of the market, then the NGOs take notice and they come in and say, hey, is this true? So they take it to the lab, to the government lab, and government endorse it, and then government step in to come up with a standard first, and then come up with regulation.
I think looking at it, it's a case of technology is out there. We would love to use it. Can we use it? Maybe not. Don't know how long it will take. So a lot of questions out there which still need to be answered.